I started the book of Isaiah chapter 42. This is Isaiah chapter 42. Point is verse 9. I started verse 8, and it reads, I am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10. I'm going to start up again. This is Isaiah chapter 46 verse 9. Point is verse 10. Remember the former things of old, for I am the Most High, and there is none else. I am the Most High, and there is none like me. Verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodas Rakatham. I say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, who teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I say shalom to the Akwath, as well as the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Lord, willingly, this is edifying to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, appearing like the other nations, with whom subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. This is the brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, and I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Shai. I came across this article on the phone service I got. You know, they have a particular like I guess they push their own news through this phone service. You know, I got Metro, so I came across this article on Metro. It's 2 days ago, and through the Spirit, you know, we are in the times of this, you know, this red Hebrew Edomite, the so-called white man, trying to push his agenda, which is, you know, his NWO, where he puts a system in place where no man, woman, or child can buy or sell without receiving the charagma, which is the MOT, you know. The MOTB, Salakia, the MOTB, you know, spoken of in Revelation chapter 13. So it says Alibaba and Adventure to launch RISV chips for payments. So, you know, you see the same thing going with, you know, these digital payment systems. Why is that? Because eventually this devil wants to basically create a system where they can track and trace and monitor everything via, you know, a C-hip. So it says, as thirsty as these devils is, they fuck around. I read from the article and say V-chips, and they oh yeah, you know what I mean? Find some kind of way to strike it, you know. You know, I want to digress, but I was thinking about it. You know, I did a video about Donald Trump and Lil Wayne, and they said basically they struck it because, and I probably could have tried to like fight it, but that's how you know the devil's butt hurt. They just lying. Like I said, basically Donald Trump was using Lil Wayne to push a certain agenda, and they say, well, you can't, you know, that's false narrative and all this old silly shit. But at the end of the day, why do you think certain politicians hire certain individuals to run commercials and whatnot? Why do you think who was that, Obama, you had all those actors, you know, they had that big old I can't remember the commercial, but you had a whole bunch of actors that basically was basically promoting Obama. You know, so for you to sit up there and say that they don't use celebrities and athletes and whatnot, that's bullshit, you know. But whatever. That's how you know the devil butt hurt. But he a liar and the father of it. Anyhow, it says Alibaba Group Holdings chips unit T-Head and Alipay the payment service under Alibaba's financial affiliate Ant Group, will release computing chips for secure payments based on the RISV instruction set architecture, the two entities said. The development comes as Chinese companies continue to invest heavily in chips in the wake of U.S. export restrictions targeting China's semiconductor sector. The chips will be embedded in hardware devices and used to enhance mobile payments, which are popular in China via the use of QR codes, Alipay T-Head said on Thursday. And, it's a chip shortage because a lot of the technology, that's how you're going to get your smart cities, All these different devices is ran off of these chips, You got chips in your phone, chips in your car, They got chips in the TVs, chips in, your refrigerators, these modern day refrigerators, and it's all gonna be on a grid because you're gonna have a smart city. That's what your 15-minute city is gonna be, which people think is gonna give you freedom and make things more accessible and easier, but actually they're gonna be prisons. It says an Alipay spokesperson gave no date for the release of the chips, but said it would be placed in commercially available hardware devices soon. Commercially available hardware devices soon, adding that chips will be produced in collaboration with other chip design companies. T-Head, a unit under Alibaba's cloud computing division, first unveiled its Xonti series of RISC-V-based core processors in 2019. So, with that being said, I saw that article, but then that's why I knew it was the spirit, because I saw that article and that's what, prompted this lesson. But then as soon as I saw that article, I believe it's this article. Now this is out of my news break, and this is out of Business Markets Insider, and it says the Treasury just gave the strongest indication yet that the U.S. will get a digital dollar. But an expert says proliferation of CBDCs, which are central bank digital currencies, poses risk to the dollar. The U.S. Treasury just made its strongest indication that a central bank digital currency is on the table. We are engaging in the technological development of a CBDC so that we will be able to move forward rapidly if a CBDC were determined to be in the national interest. And it ain't about what this is already planned. When you go into, the secret societies and, the so-called illuminated ones, this is not nothing new. This is a plan that they had in the making for centuries, in order to try to rule the world via technology, But an expert says a proliferation of CBDCs could impact the dollar's role on the world stage. And, I'm not probably even going to read this, but I just took it through the spirit that I've seen, and I was like, okay, that's going into, pretty much, digital payments and, the CHIP. But then for this to pop up on my news break like a day later, I want to say it was the same day. I just didn't do the video because yesterday the spirit led me to do a video on this Edomite murderer. He was a murderer from the beginning. But and that's the spirit, because the Lord sups with those of his men. It tells you that what's that, 2 Corinthians? This is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11, and it reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And when you go into that word devices, Salakia, it says
Strong's G 3540,
Naima, a mental perception, thought, an evil purpose, that which thinks the mind, thoughts, or purposes, an evil plan, because a plan had to be mentally thought up from the get-go. Now the thing is, we know ultimately this, CHIP and this whole system is actually, the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's why he's going to allow it to come to pass to a degree, but it's not his will for it to ultimately be implemented. Like, it's going to be implemented to a degree, but it's not going to, it's going to fall short, put it like that, because ultimately this is a huge test, the test and try the world, So then when you go into the book of Amos, chapter 3, in verse 7, which reads, surely the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. And Lord willingly, I be of that number, as well as, my elders or apostles, which I, through the Spirit, believe that those men are men of the Lord. I've put it like this. I've never, I always question that when you go to church and you ask questions and, they beat around a bush or basically try to divert your attention but the elders, if you ask them a question, they will sincerely not try to answer, they will answer it. I was listening to one of the brothers in the camp. He was going into how the elders have said things. He went and looked them up and they come out, find out they're true, and the truth shall set you free, So we've been freed from the prison of this world, from the truth that the elders received from on high, from the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And by waking us up, that made us basically enter into so eventually, like I said, they're gonna implement this system, it's just a matter of time. Scriptures talk about in the book of Revelations, which I'm gonna get, because like I said, that's where you basically hear about the sea hip, and I'm gonna just go straight to the point. Revelations 13 and verse 16, and it reads, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, and Salaki, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. Now, when you go into that word mark, in the Greek, it's charagma. And when you go into the word, or the root word, charagma, is charax. And basically, it's a palisade, which, when you go into the sea hip, it looks like a grain of rice, but it also looks like a palisade, Then when, the breakdown that the elders go into, because, when you go into the word even further, the root word goes into information, and literally that sea hip can actually hold data. It will hold your data. It will hold data to who you are, what's in your bank account, where you stay, all these different things. So how people don't want to reveal who their identity is. Well, in this coming system that he saw the devil was trying to create, he wants to know all things, because he want to be as the Most High. It tells you that in the book of Ezekiel chapter 28. You want to be like the Most High, and he is wiser than Daniel. It tells you that the children of this world are wiser than the children of light, which is Esau, Edom, and the children of light are you so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, so like it, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. The true biblical, the true biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks of, because it's only those, groups of people, individuals of people, those tribes of people that actually fit the curses. Esau, Edom doesn't fit the curses. Those Khazars, fake Jews in the land, the Jewish, don't fit the curses. Hell, let's say there's going to be peace in the land when the Israelites get back into the land. What is it? It's just constant state of war. Blasphemy. Kosher pig. How the fuck you going to have something kosher because you said you blessed it when the Most High God basically deemed it unclean? It makes me think about that bitch Joyce Myers. I was gonna do a video on it, but brothers jumped right on that bitch head. If you don't like my vulgarity, a man should be able to say more than 4-letter words. But at the same time, sometimes you gotta just call the things in this world for what they are. If something smell like shit, you gonna say shit to emphasize it even more so, as opposed the boo boo. Like fuck out of here. And to show you how just brain dead and just under a spell these people are. I remember the brother Karatazar from Vegas was saying that. He said he remembers his aunt took him to go see her and I can't remember who all, but I remember he said he seen her as a younger man or a child or something like that. And this bitch is a demon. She's justifying getting tattooed, but the scriptures tell you literally not to mar your body. Not to mark your body. Showing you how people don't read the scriptures. Scriptures say, study to show thyself approved. And that's why, if a people can be just basically blindsided by something simple like that, how many people going to run to join in to take that mark? This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're going to have not only the C-hip, but you're going to have to be, in the image of this place, in the philosophies of this place. Because once you are able to partake because you got the C-hip, then of course you're going to be, as much as you try to stay not caught up in the ways of Babylon, because we are in Babylon, we are affected by, we don't partake in the majority of the things here, but we basically, how do I word it? Basically because of the fact that you're in it, you go put it like this. Like, for instance, we ain't gonna celebrate St. Patrick's Day. When you go back to that, that's like the Feast of Bacchus or something like that. A Roman pagan holiday. That's why a lot of people get drunk and then go fuck and get high. They get drunk and then they go fuck. That goes back. That's a pagan ritual. But I'm sure it's other names. But when you go and look up Bacchus, well, it's one of the names that you can look up. That goes back to that. Like I said, that's why it's not surprising. Like I said again, when you look into what they was doing back then in ancient Rome and then what they do today, nothing's new under the sun. The scriptures tell you that. But we don't partake in it. We partake in our high holy days, which is coming up. We got the high holy day of Passover and then the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's coming up actually Sunday. Then you have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, those 6 days prior. Salakia, after. But yet still, though, because we're in Babylon, we may not partake in, St. Patrick's Day, but we'll get caught up in it because of the fact, you may be going to work and you got the fucking parade. This is one day they just allow, these fucking people to be drunk. You can't be drunk any other day, but this day you could be drunk. Like, the fuck? This is the backwardness of this society. Either you should outlaw it every other day. You should either outlaw it all the time, or it should never be outlawed. You know what I mean? Like, just a silly ass play. But Salaki for the digression. So it's a system that they're trying to put in place, and that's why the Lord said Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, our Father Abanawa, is going to send our big brother back, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, people ignorantly call Jesus Christ, back, because it says if the Most High didn't send him back, there will be no flesh to save. It said that, but it also says the elect should scarcely be saved. So this is going to be like the ultimate underdog story. Scripture. It was not script, because scripts like this is like a living movie. You know what I mean? Because everything is already rewritten. It's written on if you're going to be saved or if you're going to be condemned. It's written on, everything is written, There's no such thing as free will. And it's a punishment if you literally partake in getting that C-hip or that MOTB. This is Revelation chapter 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Because this place basically going to be destroyed by ICBMs, which is intercontinental ballistic missiles. These different countries going to basically shoot missiles onto this place. And that's why it's no coincidence that you're hearing about all this nuclear missile testing and, so forth and whatnot, Let me see. So like I said again, ultimately, Esau, the scriptures tell you in the book of Job that the deceived and the deceiver are both his. So the deceiver is Esau Edom, which is the devil. Scriptures tell you the devil is a liar and the father of it. John chapter 8. So, he's the deceiver. And, 2/3 of our people are going to be deceived by this deceiver. But, the Most High controls them both. Just like the Most High controls the righteous angels as well as the left-hand angels. The Most High controls good and evil. Tells you that in the book of Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I create darkness and I create light. I create good and evil. I, the Lord, do all these things, roughly paraphrased. So it's the Most High God that literally controls both sides, And that's kind of ingenious how Esau did that, having everyone think that the Most High God is just all loving and all forgiving. And he can be merciful. He can be forgiving. Look at how we've been given the opportunity to be taught the truth. We could have been lost in darkness. The scriptures in Deuteronomy chapter 28 talks about grope in darkness, being blinded. The scriptures talk about blindness, not knowing the hour, the time, or what's going on. But it was mercy that the Most High didn't allow us to just stay blinded, to give us this light, this marvelous light. So it's not Esau's plan. It's ultimately the will and the plan of Yahweh Shem Yahushua to test the world. Scriptures talk about how the whole world should be tested in the hour of temptation, Revelation chapter 3. So although Esau Edom thinking this is going to be his way to secure, the whole world and reign forever, the scriptures talk about how the Most High is going to upset him. This is the book of Proverbs chapter 19, and the point is verse 21, and it reads, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. So, it may be Esau Edom's will to, implement this system, thinking he going to rule forever. But just because the Most High is allowing Esau Edom to, go or create this, because it's the Most High that, it tells you that the Most High, all things bend to the will of the Most High. So it's the Most High that's allowing this devil. And who you think, where they got the blueprint from it? The ideas, it's all the will of the Lord. So he, although Esau Edom thinks that he's going to create this and then just rule and reign forever. That's why he's talking about building technology for them to live carnally forever. The Most High is going to upset that. Where is that at in the book of Job chapter 5? I'm going to start at verse 11. Job 5 and 11. To set up on high those that be low. And who are the lowest people in this country? Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. Because although we entertain, our people are like the greatest athletes, the greatest actors, the best singers and dancers and rappers. You'll be looked at no more than either that or a nigga or a slave. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter in this man's society. It says to set up on high those that be low, that those which mourn may be exalted to safety. That's why scriptures talk about, it's better to be in the house of mourning than the house of mirth. Everybody really ain't doing well, Everybody feeling the squeeze. The way America's set up, you got to take the time to think about it. Even if a person makes more money than you, they're being squeezed because when you make more money, you live, especially in a credit-based society, because they allow you to think you getting something without having to have the money at that moment. You might put yourself in a situation, you can get a $200,000 house, but you really only can afford a $75,000, $100,000 house. Well, now when you got these layoffs and all these different things that's going on, what do you think these people doing? These people stressed out way more than a guy that's really living within his means, especially when these stamps about to be cut. Oh, like the brother Al-Rawan from Mid Valley said. He said, "Oh, Lord have mercy." You know what I mean? Verse 12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Who was the crafty? It tells you that the serpent was more subtle than his. It talks about that the serpent was more subtle in the book of Genesis. And when you go into the word subtle, it means crafty. Well, who is the serpent? Who is likened onto a serpent? You know, the red dragon. What is a dragon? Likened onto a serpent. A dragon is just a huge serpent. What was Rome's symbol? The dragon. So that's your red dragon. You know, and you got our people that worship this fucking devil. Because that's what you bow down to, our people that sold out. They bow down to this Edomite. And that's why they partake in his ways. I don't give a fuck if they flag it or whatever the fuck. Like, because everything I'm speaking is the truth. That's why that's how you know this is a wicked ass place. Because, like I said, it talks about in the scriptures how you're turning the things upside down. They'll literally take the truth and make it seem like you're wrong for speaking the truth. This is a wicked ass fucking place. And I can't wait till the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahushua destroy this fucking place. Verse 13, he taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Now, I told you, scriptures talk about in the book of Luke that the children of this world are wiser than the children of light. It tells you in the book of Ezekiel that he was wiser than Daniel. Well, who is that referring to? This red devil, this Hebrew Edomite. Because he is a Hebrew. You know, he's the evil, wicked twin brother of Jacob. You know, which became a nation, which name got changed to Israel. So you had the Israelites, and then you had Esau, who, you know, the name got changed to Edom, the Edomites. You know, they both, that's why the scriptures talk about, it was two nations in her belly, because you had two nations of people come out of one mother. And why is that hard to believe? That's not hard to believe. Well, you go into husbandry and then go into one man, because one man could populate, if he had 300 concubines, he can impregnate all the women. A man can impregnate a woman onto his deathbed. It goes into that, or the, I forgot what was that, in 2 Kings, I think? Before Solomon basically took over the kingdom, you know, they was trying to get David to basically lay seed into one of his, it was a young, pretty woman. I can't think of her name right off the bat. Salakia. So, I'm going to end with this scripture because at the end of the day, the point is, you know, this thing is coming. And no matter how Esau, Edom try to work it or predict what the Most High going to do, you know, you are the puppet on the string. It's not the other way around. You know, the Most High ain't no genie that you control. Even fuck what Noah Huvel Harari says, you know, the God of the Bible, the man in the sky, and all this old blasphemous shit. And like I said, I hope the Lord preserve him so he could be a slave for one of the brothers, you know, because he deserved a long, drawn out, you know, judgment for real. This is the book of Acts chapter 5. And the point is verse 39, and it reads, I'm going to start at verse 38, and it reads, and now I say unto you, refrain from these men and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it, least happily ye be found even to fight against the Most High. So if it's the will of the Lord, you can't stop this. You know, it may look like his things are stutter stepping and stopping, and you know, but this is the will of the Most High. That's why it's written in the scriptures. You know, and it will come to pass. But the elect shall be saved out of it. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, or you will be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rachakados Bakatam. Say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. We'll say peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. We'll say shalom to the Akwaf, as well as the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson. I say shalom, shalom, Mawatha Abba, shalom.